Welcome to the August 14 Helm developer meeting. This is the CNCF project, which is governed by the CNCF Code of Conduct, which basically boils down to be nice to each other. And first thing on the agenda, which I just lost my tab, is announcements. There's no announcements, unless anybody has any. No. So the first discussion topic is from Karen.
Yeah, okay, Matt's not on the call, but basically I reached out to one of the CNCF ambassadors who runs, I think it's like a podcast interview thing, but it's called CNCF Tour. Um, and they highlight different CNCF projects. So I figured that would be a good opportunity to get Helm 4 out. So right now I've so far just kind of pitched to him about doing something, or I guess recording something shortly after KubeCon. And that way that'd be just like another avenue for us to promote Helm 4. So I wanted to check if that was a good time frame. Yeah.
When is that again? You said November.
Um, Yeah, I just asked him, I guess like I figured we'd want to do it after KubeCon, just because I'm sure like you all will be super busy leading up to it. And he's not going to KubeCon, so probably like a week or two after. So I'd say like second half of November, and then hopefully he can get that published around December is my guess. Yeah, but let me know if this is a bad idea. I just kind of reached out because he posted an episode recently. I was like, oh, like maybe the timing can work out there. So yeah. Um, I'll just follow up as long as there aren't any like obvious red flags right now.
Uh, n the only timing thing I can think of is, like the Thanksgiving break stuff that a lot of people are out
Yeah,
for. That's before then. That all sounds like it makes sense to me.
cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll circle back on offline. I guess this wasn't really a discussion, but cool. That's it. Thanks.
There's some discussion. That's good. Um, Next is Scott. For a plugin.
Okay, I was just doing some notes. Okay, yes. Um, so we can share a couple of things. I'll be real fast about it. So, let me share my screen, just to do it. Um, and Hall of Mirrors. Okay. Um, okay. Yeah, so there a lot of the work, well, right now we had to choose a place to collaborate somewhere, and we could have done it in a branch on the upstream repo of Helm, but I don't know. We were actually just moving back and forth between a lot of branches. So primarily George and I, as I think you all know, have been working on um, the Helm 4 plugin system HIP implementation. And so I'll just send this for now. A lot of the, I'm not really sure why I'm sharing my screen. Actually, there's really, I'm going to stop sharing my screen because basically here's just a link to it. That is the branch on which um, the work that can be viewed is. There's also an open pull request that we've kept separate currently for plugin signing and verifying, which is also on that fork. We've been doing that. What we're going to do is flatten all of our commits, or just, squash all of our commits, because we have a lot of them and they have gone through a process but the goal is to make easier pull requests. So for review upstream. So we're going to squash them all, do a few things that are in sensible chunks so that they're reviewable in an easier way, as opposed to saying, here's 5,000 files for everyone to review, three-quarters of which are brand new, you know. Um, yeah. So that's the That's the goal. Luckily, the HIP itself is pretty detailed, so the reasoning for it, um, the actual things that were accomplished were all reviewed, community reviewed, maintainer reviewed, um, and so all of that is known and understood. It's not just sort of like we don't have to justify it, but I think the main thing is we have about, well, just shy now, I think, of 3 weeks before code freeze. So we could really use folks to help review this now as a very high priority, um, if you're able. So I think right now the people on the call that are there's uh yeah, there's one core maintainer, one triage maintainer, and at least one person who's been contributing quite a lot. So I guess that would be Joe, Terry, and Jesse is the contributing quite a lot, and perhaps Jesse, it would be great to get your thoughts on, well, you and Joe's thoughts on the unit tests. I know we've all independently and together talked about unit testing in Helm, um, and how we can improve it in Helm 4. Some of this includes some of those improvements, and Jesse, I know you saw one of them already and already reviewed a pull request on my fork for that. So anyway, looking at that would be really helpful. Terry, it'd be really great to get your thoughts on the OCI stuff, especially the Aura stuff. What I initially did just, and I'll keep this pretty short now, but I think it's good to mention we're recording this and you're also here. So um, I initially implemented or with the plugin OCI fetching capabilities directly with Oras, um, because our getter and registry packages were very chart centric. A lot of it was initially written to be pretty agnostic, and only the downloader like the getter package was meant to be pretty agnostic, and the downloader package was meant to be the charts implementation of the getter stuff. In actual practice, over time, that tended not to be the case. It got polluted with just tons of chart specific stuff, because we didn't have anything else to get, frankly, and now we will. So I have in this branch, I've also updated to use the OCI stuff to use the getter package, but there's also very specific things inside of the chart, excuse me, inside of the plugin package. It includes an HTTP getter. It includes a VCS getter, so you can actually like get something from Git, which its implementation is kind of not wonderful, honestly. So anyway, I think maybe Joe, that would be a thing to ask you about. Just like I'm not looking for like oh we should this is something that we need to change right now because the scope that's pretty outside of the scope of this, but at least I wanted to let you know what you're seeing in why we all this branch also changes like the registry and getter packages and not just the plugin package. And so yeah, Terry, it would be great to get your view on how that's implemented, the OCI side. So
Cool. Will do.
yeah, and those are kind of the biggest features. The other thing to know is that why everything's in internal. This was already discussed on a previous Helm dev meeting, so I don't need to get too into it. But basically, the idea is we're moving all the stuff to internal and then only exposing things that people actually need for use cases that are simple, as opposed to a lot of the functions were exported already, and they really didn't need to be. That's the case with a lot of the Helm code base. But since we're doing a major version update, we can do that. So, and the other nice thing about this is that we can expose more over time if we find through this, well, not just through the code freeze period, but at any point, if someone from the community is like, hey, I used to be able to do X and now I can't. If it is deemed to be a valid use case that we want to support, then we can expose those things like anytime, but we can't go the other way back once we do the full release. We can't unexpose something that was already exposed. And that's really it. Oh, there is one other thing. There's a test repo with with like an end-to-end test repo that I made with plugins, and that is here. So these are with the new plugins of the different types, including legacy ones, and a make file to test them. So thanks in advance.
That looks awesome, Scott. And for a rare occasion, I'm actually on my desktop computer, so I get to take notes for you. Um, the next up is Terry. You have a pull
Yeah, I
request
just
for,
wanted,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh yeah, I wanted to talk about this force, where is it? Yeah,
Force bearer.
the force bearer auth for everything. And I guess that's not properly named because it's only force bearer auth for um, registries that support bearer auth. It leaves basic auth um, for registries that request basic auth, which was the question that Matt had a ways back. And I was hoping that we could get this merged and in the into Helm 4 for sure, and possibly into Helm 3, because it's going to fix problems with Quay. And I feel like there was another registry that was having problems with this, but I don't recall right now. But definitely with Scott's internal registry. Um,
Oh yeah.
so that's what this is about. Um, and there was also a PR that Evans had made, it was OCI related, oh, with user pass. I was hoping we can get that in too, but I think Evans PR needs to be rebased. But anyway, that's about it from me. If anyone's got any questions, let me know.
Yeah, I do. Remember this PR? I know you do. I know you remember it, but just wasn't that didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So didn't we so there's a lot of conversation on that. And wasn't there, I guess my question is why does this work now, whereas before we were running into problems? Is it because we made other
Well,
changes?
I think there might have been some confusion on the PR that you made originally, Scott, because of the Oris Go situation. Oris Go had uh, there's been a backport into Oris Go of the new functionality. And I think Sylvia had claimed that, oh, it always worked this way. You know, what are you saying? And I was confused because I'm like, I swear I was in some container decode. And then I finally dug into the history and saw, oh, this was a backport. It's not totally not how it used to work. So that's my thinking on that.
Right.
So my question about testing, is there any testing that can be done or added, or is this just we can't do it because it connects to something that we don't have access to?
Yeah, it's a good question, Joe. I'd have to look at what existing tests there are and see if there's any way. I'm not sure. This code is all the registry code is not great for being testable, in my opinion. Other than
Right.
functionally testing it, and then functionally testing, it's really hard to test things like this.
Yeah.
So
Now I remember this conversation now. So, or like some of the other details around it. So, can we test with some of the registries that were not working with this change? Because what was happening was it wasn't working on a few different registries, so like Quay, for example. Um, and Wait, where else was it?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have access to
HCR?
Quay.
Sorry,
Was GHCR the other one?
I couldn't remember. We'll have to
That
go
was
back.
on your PR. 30950. Which, just a side note that doesn't really matter, but QUAY is actually pronounced key.
Oh, I remember, but nobody calls it that. Even Jimmy doesn't call it that.
It's like they deliberately call it Quay against, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I know. Should ask him why sometime on the podcast. Maybe Karen, but in any case, yeah. So that was the thing, is it just wasn't working on all registries, and so I think that's the thing to bear in mind. And so what we started doing is we started forming a plan to hatching a plan that we have not fully implemented yet, which is to create an end-to-end test suite with all the major registries. And we got some credentials from a few different registries, but we've never set up CI for that. So for now, I think, Terry, the main thing is if we can uh I have access to a Quay instance from Andy. And Andy can get you one too if you want to get that before I'm able to get that to you. Um
Okay.
yeah. As those work, then I mean, I still think this is a good idea based on what I thought, based on what I understood from the workflows.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
If you have access, Scott, can you just manually test this
Yeah.
for now?
Yeah. Yes.
Cool. Zero. And that is the last thing on the list. Notes for next time? Anyone? Bueller?
I think I can do notes next week.
Thank you. I will be in the office next week, so I won't be able to. Issue triage. I don't think any issue triagers are here.
Yeah, not me for issue triage, but for pull request review, I will be, and specifically prioritizing the new features or the features that are far along that we want to get in before code freeze. And I'm not sure I don't think I can, I don't know if I can, anyway, host next week, so I'm not sure I can be here.
That was the next question, is who can be here. So it says core maintainer or something. I'm not a core maintainer, right?
You are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a
There you-
project. Anyway.
So we could leave that as a question mark for now, just because if we don't know anything.
Oh, I'm moderator. I'll moderate. Cool. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you.